Ah, the weekend pancake. You know the dream, that big, tall, fluffy stack. But what you usually get is, well, something a little sadder, a little flatter. If you've ever just stared down at a disappointing pancake and thought, what went wrong? You are in exactly the right place. Because today, we're going to fix that.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to treat your breakfast like an engineering project. This is the architecture of fluff. And yeah, we are going to build the perfect pancake from the ground up using the laws of actual science. It might sound a little intense, but trust me, it's going to be fun.
So, what is the big secret? It all comes down to something we're calling the fluff factor. And you should think of this less like a recipe and more like a formula. It's all about a series of chemical and physical reactions that we can actually control. And once you understand them, you unlock the secret to ultimate fluffiness every single time. Ready?
Okay, our mission starts long before any batter ever hits a hot pan. It all begins right here, in the mixing bowl. This is where the magic happens, and the science of the batter is what lays the foundation for a fluffy or a flat pancake.
Okay, first, let's meet the villain of our story, gluten. Now look, gluten isn't always bad. It's what gives bread its amazing structure. But in the very delicate world of pancakes, if you mix that batter too much, these gluten strands get way too developed, they get tough, and they create this dense, kind of rubbery texture. They are, without a doubt, the #1 enemy of fluff.
And this slide right here shows you exactly what I'm talking about. You might think that smooth, thin batter on the right is what you want, right? But nope, that's a trap. That's a huge sign you've overmixed it and that gluten is running wild. What you're actually aiming for is the lumpy, thick batter on the left. Seriously, those lumps are your best friends. They mean you haven't destroyed the delicate structure you need to trap air and get that perfect, tender pancake.
So, if gluten is our villain, who's the hero? Well, that would be the leavening agent, usually baking powder. This stuff is the powerhouse that does all the heavy lifting. Its only job is to fight against flatness by releasing tons of tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. Those bubbles, that's the heart and soul of a fluffy pancake.
And this breaks it down perfectly. Just think of it like a simple 3-act play. Act 1, the second you add liquid, the baking powder wakes up. Act 2, right away a chemical reaction kicks off and it starts making those precious CO2 bubbles. But the real magic, the grand finale, is Act 3. That's when the batter hits the hot pan and that reaction goes into absolute overdrive for that final glorious puff of lift. Okay, we have mastered the chemistry in the bowl. Check. But now we're stepping into the world of physics. The griddle, that's where all our careful preparation gets transformed into a golden, fluffy work of art.
So the single most crucial factor here is temperature. I'm not talking about medium heat or when the butter starts to sizzle. We need to be precise. The magic number you're looking for is 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. And listen, this isn't just a suggestion. It is the perfect temperature to achieve pancake perfection.
So why is that one number so important? Well, at 375 degrees, everything happens just right. The heat is high enough to set the pancake's outer structure really fast, trapping all those CO2 bubbles inside before they can escape. It also creates this little burst of steam for an extra poof of lift. And it kicks off something called the Maillard reaction. That's the amazing process that gives food that beautiful golden brown color and that delicious toasty flavor. If you go too hot or too cool, the whole system just falls apart.
All right, let's walk through this, second by second. Watch the clock and watch the pancake. Right after it hits the pan, about 30 seconds in, you'll see the edges start to set up and look a little dry. Then, around the 90-second mark, bubbles will start to form and pop right in the middle. That's your signal. At 2 minutes, it's go time. It's ready for the flip. Don't even second guess.
Okay, so we have covered a lot of science, right? From gluten chemistry to thermal physics. But the goal here isn't to make things more complicated. It's actually the opposite. It's to take all that complex stuff and turn it into really simple, repeatable actions you can use in your own kitchen.
And this right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. So, let's just go down the list. If your pancakes are tough, what's the scientific reason? Too much gluten. The solution? Simple. Mix it less. Remember, lumps are good. Okay, next. If they're flat, it's because your leavening agent basically ran out of steam. The fix is to cook that batter right away. And finally, if your pancakes are pale and kind of soggy, your pan was too cool. You already know the solution for that. Preheat it to that magic number. See? It really is that simple.
And that really is the main takeaway here.
Making the perfect pancake isn't about some secret family recipe. It's about knowing why you're doing what you're doing. Once you understand the science, you're not just following a recipe anymore. You're engineering breakfast. So, what are you going to be building in your kitchen this weekend?